Day 47 on my pilgrimage around the 88 temples of Shikoku. Today I visited temples 84, 85, and 86. A day filled with some history for a few of the temples. I started off the day by going up the wrong road. I couldn't find the Ohenro path up the mountain, so I was taking the car road, and it appears that people are not supposed to be on the car road. I saw a sign saying no people, no bikes, but there was no one around, and I just kind of went up. There was a lady who's like, you're not supposed to be on this road, and then pointed out like about a half mile up there's a path that you can take. It was actually the Ohenro path between temples 84 and 85, so I caught that for the last little bit of it. But I'm glad I sort of took this road because it had an overlook over Yashima. And basically, it's a place of famous battles from the Tale of Heike, between the Genji and the Heike. It was fun overlooking this battlefield where battles that I teach in class took place. The temple itself was kind of interesting. There's a pond outside of the main temple gate, for example, that's called the Blood Pond because the Genji washed their swords there and of Heike blood, and it just turned the pond red. There's also a ghost hotel. There was a hotel that no one goes to anymore. The highway got built and people stopped coming and staying overnight, and the hotel pretty much closed up. And it's just kind of this abandoned hotel with most of the windows broken and still has curtains kind of fluttering in the wind. It was kind of spooky, actually. The first temple actually had a museum about the history of the area, but it's only open on Sundays, so I couldn't see what was inside of it, and I was actually wanting to. Today was a really light day. There are 3 temples close together, each about maybe 7-8K from each other, so all together today was sort of a 15-16 mile day. I could take my time. There's sort of this battle between wanting to go long distances and short distances. Going short distances gives you more time to appreciate places, but that's if the places are worth appreciating. And sometimes some of the temples you don't want to stay at, you just want to keep going, and then you finish the day early and there's nothing really to do. I guess you can rest, maybe explore the city, but that's hoping that you are someplace where there's something to explore. But they're not often places where you can just go and kind of hang out and chill. You can chill in your room, which I'm doing now, but my room is kind of just seat on the floor. Or you can go long distances and then you wear yourself out and you're tired. So it's kind of this battle between how far should I go, how far should I not go. Anyhow, today was a short day, but it was great that it was a short day because the temples were really interesting. There were things I wanted to see at the temples. I could take my time. And then at temple number 85, a European woman came up to me. I believe she was French. She's a filmmaker. She's actually in Japan working on a film on funeral rites, and she had done the Santiago pilgrimage and was planning to do this pilgrimage and had blocked off 2 months but had sprained her ankles or hurt her leg somehow and wasn't able to go. So she was just kind of visiting some temples and checking it out, and she saw I was filming the temple, so we got talking about filming and our work. So because I wasn't in a hurry, could just linger and talk for 20-30 minutes to her. At that temple, there's also a separate temple in addition to the pilgrimage temple, and in that temple there was the oldest Ganesh in Japan is housed in the 15 centimeter tall Ganesh inside a box that's open once every 50 years. I had been talking to some groundskeepers because I asked him what was on the top of the hill, and he goes, it was a worship hall to Tengu. I was like, I thought Tengus are kind of bad, but he's like, no, this is a good Tengu. He looks after people. So in short, because I showed some interest in this temple, they welcomed me into the Ganesh hall, and we sat and talked about who painted it and where it came from. So again, because I wasn't in a rush, could take some time and learn about some parts of the temple on a deeper level with the temple people who also happen to be really friendly and wanting to share some of that information. Coming down from temple 86, I was on a 2-kilometer stretch of road with a 21% incline. It made me think, if you want to train for the Tour de France, come and do that 2K at 21%, a definite workout. I came down from the mountain, had time, thought I should get something to eat, found a Michino Eki, which was kind of a self-serve place. I grabbed a great lunch of a hamachi chik for 400 yen, a bowl of rice, some pickles and side dish, all for $8. Phenomenal deal. Couldn't believe how cheap it was, and it was pretty good. On the way to the last temple, on the road, I saw a sign that said the Okanoin for the last temple. So I just stopped in and offered a little sutra reading and got my book signed with the Okanoin. And then the guy gave me a coffee for settai. I was like, well, you don't get many people visiting, but he still was very generous and gave me a settai because showed interest in his temple. At the last temple, I was getting my book signed, and two guys came in with backpacks and each carrying 2 furoshikis. And turns out they had 88 books, shirts, and scrolls, 88 things in total that had to be signed from the temple. I went out and filmed the temple, and I was expecting a bus tour to come, but the bus tour didn't come. These were just two guys in charge of getting all the people on the bus tours books and scrolls and shirts signed and stamped. And there was only one guy working at the book signing office, so he had a lot of work ahead of him. The day ended great. I went in for dinner, and I was sitting by myself, and then there was a couple next to me, and it was a great dinner. It was a night I really wish Eiko was with me to enjoy the dinner as I watched the couple eating and talking. They were a car couple. And as I was getting up to leave, because I'd finished, 2 other Ohenro came in and sat down, and it was one of my buddies from Temple 60. He's walking at a much slower pace, and because I'm doing the Bangai, I kind of get ahead of him, and then he catches up, and then this is about the 3rd or 4th time we met. We've met on the road a couple of times, so just been saying hi. But I sat down and talked with him. He was sitting next to another gentleman, and we talked for close to 2 hours. We talked about the Ohenro. Turns out he, before going on the Ohenro, had been biking around Cambodia on a bicycle. And he's 73, and he's working his way around the Ohenro and should finish it tomorrow. And we're talking about the pros and cons and adventures, and he's like, the greatest advice I get is always ask people where you're going to double check you're on the right route. And I was like, I wish I had had that advice 46 days ago. So for those of you doing the pilgrimage, double check with the locals to make sure you're going in the right direction. That's really good advice. I also helped out the people at this inn. I was eating dinner, and they got a phone call from a person, and they don't speak English. So I took their reservation for tomorrow night from a guy from Holland. Tomorrow, going to hit the last 2 main temples, and then I have one more Bangai to hit that's way out of the way, and I think I might have miscalculated things. Today was kind of light, but the next 2 days are going to be pretty heavy.